Hey, this is Antonio with Enhanced Movements, reviewing some more talking points. One of the things we're going to talk about today is how to activate your core. Now, where this comes really into play for us is for those that are commonly dealing with pain associated with this region of the body. So mid-back pain, low back pain, even like hip pain. Not only from the standpoint of they've been told they have maybe a weak core and they want to like retrain their weaknesses, but also they don't really know how to maybe use it in the first place because they were given a wrong cue or they've been doing something a different way. So we're going to highlight some of the points about this and really kind of describe how we use it in our practice. So the core, and there's different definitions depending on who you are. We're going to go with what we kind of focus and believe the core is, and how we utilize it in our instructions. Okay, so if this is my pelvis and this is my rib cage, I got my head up here, I have my low back here. We have a couple different areas that we want to highlight. We have our diaphragm here, which is going to be sitting at the bottom of my rib cage. I have my pelvic floor here, which is basically the bottom of my pelvis. And then on the sides and the back, we have obviously the back muscles that go along here. That would be like your QL, your paraspinals, etc. And then on the front side, we have obviously the rectus abdominis, which is like your six-pack muscles. And then expanding from the front around to the sides all the way to the back would be like our obliques. Okay, then we can also tie in our lats and a couple other structures there. But essentially, we're talking about from the bottom of the pelvis to like the rib cage area, and that's going to be our core. Now, why this is important is because it's a centralized area that allows for force absorption and force transfer, as well as acting as a platform for bigger joints and muscles to push and pull from. So that's why we need to be able to stabilize and control what's happening here, for not only control of the lower back to prevent pain or overloading, but to also let those bigger structures do what they need to do. Now, activating the core is going to be very different for different peoples, right? So what really interests us is how people's movement context or movement preferences show depending on the goal or the task at hand. So it's really going to depend on what you're already doing and how ingrained you are in that movement pattern and what we might need to change. What we really like doing is using movement and load as a cue to get you to do what we want. That not only is easier than me trying to walk you through and talk you through it, but what it also does up here for your brain and your nervous system is instill that new movement pattern and allow you to recreate and hone in on that. So some of the easiest ways that we do is we simply just have someone hold a weight and just say, hold this. And then we bring awareness to what is actually activating and what muscles are actually being used that would go along this role of activating the core muscles that we want. So one of the easiest examples would be the goblet squat coined by Dan John, where I'm going to give someone a kettlebell, and fairly substantial depending on their size and strength, and I'm going to ask them just to hold it right here. By simply holding a weight in front of you, I've now changed your center of mass. And unless you're going to compensate by leaning back to bring your center of mass back on your feet, you're going to have to use your muscles of the abdomen to activate to hold you in place. So that right then and there will do most of what we want. It's super easy, and we get people to feel what we're actually trying to do. And then from there we can do movements. If you're holding here, you can go into like a hip hinging position, or you can go into that goblet squat, forcing that activation principle to activating the core to then be translated into actual functional movement, right? This is the goal. The goal is to not just sit there and keep activating the core. You got to have some transferability and tie into actually something that they want to be able to do. So it's not as simple as just being like, cue this, do this, do this. More times than not, you use this to do this to basically ingrain and make this more solidified. So it's not as super cut clear as 1, 2, 3, but try this and you'll feel the difference. Now, there's a lot of other ways that we can do this. We use bands, we use crawling patterns. It really, again, depends on the person and what their deficit is, what their goals are, and what maybe their pain patterns might be like to achieve what we want. But if you have any questions, reach out to us. Feel free to shoot me a text, 303-520-8974. Check out some of our other pages. You can also reach out to us on our social media accounts to see what we can do and help you out, okay?